Hello everyone, it's another sit down that we are having in order to help us understand in depth the restructuring efforts at Cytonn.
So I want to take it back a bit. One is that the two investments, Cytonn High Solutions and Cytonn Project Notes, they are a debt to the company. But right now, they are under liquidation, as it was done by the court on 6th of January last year. So when you look at liquidation cases that have been there in Kenya, not so much has been got by unsecured creditors, of which CHYS and CPN creditors fall under. And so by just estimation, if we look at river mining, investors only got 6.78% of their value. You look at other cases, they walked away with nothing. And so if you look at it, the best way to get the creditors, the secured creditors, get back their money, of which the Cytonn welfare is part of, is through restructuring. And that's why there has been a lot of efforts by the creditor body represented by Creditors Restructuring Committee to see to it that much as the process currently is under liquidation, they would like the whole debt recovery to go through restructuring, because with that they'll be able to get 100% of their return, versus liquidation based on our analysts, they can only get at best 14% of their value.
Okay.
Yes.
So Victor, you sit here in two capacities,
Okay.
Chairman of Cytonn Welfare, and you also sit in the committee of CRC,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
So in those two capacities,
Okay.
why do you support the restructuring process?
I support restructuring because of the value that investors can be able to get out of it. So the first one is the value, because when you're investing, just to break it down, you need to look at two things. You need to look at the return of the investment that you are doing and the return on the investment. So in this case, when you look at the two alternatives, that is liquidation and restructuring, the best one that I see, even sitting as the president of Cytonn Welfare, which has invested over 1 million Kenya shillings in the CHYS under liquidation, is through restructuring. So the best route for us to go is through restructuring, because that is where we get the best value out of it. Also, when you look at it based on the plan that has been laid out by the investment manager, who is in this case is Cytonn Investments Management PLC, it has what we call transparency, because right now you see there is a creditors body, that is Creditors Restructuring Committee, which will do the overseer role. It will be like the eyes and the ears of the larger creditor body. So that is a good way of resolving the issue, because they will be able to oversee how everything is running. And they have, just to give some information, they have gone to all the sites where the money was invested, and they are able to appraise themselves with how the things are, and they have said it's good to the process to go through restructuring. And also a number of investors have spoken to that, because they have been able to sign the support letters in droves.
So if we were to talk numbers, you mentioned that there's an entity that underwent liquidation and creditors got like 6% of what their value really was. So if you're going to talk numbers currently, or percentages that is, what percentages would we be looking at if it was liquidation versus restructuring?
Okay, based on our analysis, and all that is detailed in what we call a restructuring plan, that has, let me speak on it a bit. It has two components. It has one, completion of projects, that is the Alma, the Taraji Heights and the Ridge. And the other bit is settling the debt of HYS and CPN investors. So in terms of value, the restructuring can be able to get investors at least 100% of their value. So you look at it, you're able to get back what you invested.
And liquidation gets you what percentage?
Based on our analysis and looking at the current situations, at best can only give 14% of the value.
So it's 100 versus 14.
Yes.
Okay. So how about we look at the metrics for a bit? In restructuring, we're all looking to a point whereby it is successful and everyone's supposed to get them a value. So what financial metrics and performance indicators are we going to use to gauge, or are you guys using to gauge whether restructuring is going to be successful?
On the bigger picture bit of it, because right now and I've done a lot of interactions with investors, what they are looking at is how much are they going to get at the end of it all, and when are they going to get that. So if you look at it, is in terms of what we have said, the value will be 100% of what they invested. And then on the other side, we're looking at now completing the projects, because remember that the money is locked up in the underlying assets, which are the projects. So we're looking at completing them so that we add value to them and be able to return money. Of course, we add value to a project, we complete it, we sell it out, and once we sell it out, we can now be able to return money back to HYS and CPN investors.
Okay.
Yes, so that will be now the completion of projects as one metric, and specifically Alma, the Ridge, and Taraji, because once we complete them, we will be able to add value to it, and we will be able to recoup more from it, and that will be able to cover the liabilities, that is HYS and CPN bit of it. So it will call for paying back the monies, at least 100% of the investment, and on the other side, that will be only possible if we complete the projects.
There are stakeholders out there who are still skeptical about restructuring. So if you are to address them in a minute or less, this is your camera. What would you tell them?
Okay. Skepticism can only be, and this is a personal view, can only be resolved when we are as transparent as possible. We are able to give all the information that is requested by the individual who is a bit skeptical. So the best way is to give as much information as possible when that is required, because a lack of information brings a lot of issues, and that's what we are doing on a day-to-day basis to give out as much information as possible, and to be able to provide clarity on any issue that is being sought by the creditor. So that's what we are doing on a continuous basis, and we know with that we'll be able to get on the same page. I believe that the best way to resolve this issue is through restructuring of the HYS and CPN, and we know with the time this will come to pass.
Okay.